do, let's say 1 plus 1.0. What's the result going to be? And you can see we get 2.0. So rather than just turning it into an integer, if any part of the expression is a float, the end result will be a float. All right, so we can do things like add an integer like 20 and add 0.777 to it, and we get 20.777. I won't bore you with doing a bunch more math, but the key thing I want you to take away here is that when you do math with an integer and a float, Python will give you a float back. So I'll leave it at that for now. Remember, two types: integers, whole numbers, floats have decimal points, and that's it. Next up, let's do some simple math. Welcome back. We're almost done with the math section. In this video, we're going to discuss some of the common important operators that we have in Python. So here's a simple table. On the left side is the symbol that you'll use in Python, things you're probably familiar with, at least plus and minus, and most likely the star and the slash for division. And then over here is the name of the operator. Now, these last three, I know are kind of weird looking if you haven't come across them before. We will get to them in the next video, but for now, we're just going to talk about addition, subtraction, multiplication, and most importantly, division. Okay, so let's go over to my terminal, and I'll open up Python 3. We already saw we can do things like 1 plus 3, or 40 minus 4.5, and we get a float because we used a float as part of the expression. But what I want to call your attention to is what happens when we divide. So we could do something like 1 divided by 2. What do you think the answer will be? These are two integers, 1 and 2. So neither one of them is a float. What type of data, a float or integer, will the result be? All right, and look at that, it's a float. So in some programming languages, this actually would not give you a float, and it would round down to 0 and just cut off the decimal. But in Python, division always returns a float. You always get a float back. Now there's a way around it. If you don't want that for some reason, I'll show you in the next video. But if we do something like 1 divided by 3, we get 0.3333 repeating. So that's division. That's probably the most quirky, most important thing to point out in this video. But I also want to talk about the order of operations. So if you don't remember the order of operations for math, I won't go into the whole thing, but there's a hierarchy to how these operations or these operators are evaluated. So if we just did something like 1 plus 2 times 5 divided by 3, what happens first? There's this thing called PEMDAS. It helps some people remember parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So first would be this multiplication and then this division. So we would get 10 divided by 3 plus 1. So that's 3.333 plus 1. So we get 4.3. But we could also do, with just a couple parentheses, completely alter how this works. So now we do the 1 plus 2 first. So we get 3 times 5, it's going to be 15 divided by 3. And the answer this time is 5.0. All right, so I won't bore you. I promise I would keep this short, but I just wanted to highlight that parentheses work the same way that they do in just paper and pen math. So we can add parentheses wherever we want to manipulate the order that things are calculated in. Anyway, okay.
It's going to be 9 times 10 plus that 1. That should be right. What? You should do 9 times 10, which is 90 plus the 1. That should be right. 9 times 10 plus the 1. Oh, I guess I didn't even read it. How can we add parentheses to the following expressions to make it equal 100? Gotcha. So that's what you want to do. So you can do, add around 9 plus 1 because that'd be 10 times 10, which is 100. I guess I should have read it the first time. So what is the result of the following expression? So these are like simple just math problems. I guess honestly I could probably just put it in here just because I already got it loaded. So we can do something. Well, I can just do it down here. Here's not my answer. It's probably because it's doing text. So if I try to print this, yeah, it has this space here. If I do like that, yeah, that's fine. Explain text, still nothing. Okay, that sucks. Let's do Google search, copy this, and maybe that works. There we go. 58. What is the result of it? I'll have another one. I'm not doing that. Copy that. Actually, just copy in Google and print it out. It gives you 2, but we can do it also in Python. It's 2.0. There you go. And hit 2. So if this was Python, it'd actually give you 2.0. So this answer would probably be wrong if it was strictly Python, but if it's just accent the mathematical expression, it'd just be 2. Python does 2.0. It's just asking math problems at this point. And I got that wrong because I didn't read the question, so.
Okie dokie. So I decided to add the video on comments, which I mentioned.